Welcome to Bearcat Stadium. We are behind Bearcat Stadium at the Pavilion as it's week 3 of college football. The Northwest Missouri State Bearcats get set to take on the Missouri Southern State Lions. Northwest comes to this game 2-0. The Lions come in 0-2. You look on paper, it might be a little bit skewed, but what are we looking for in today's game?
I mean, this game might be one-sided. It may not be. Who knows what happens for Missouri Southern or Northwest. I mean, it's a beautiful day for some football, and it's also family weekend, so honestly, anything can happen here in Northwest.
Yeah, you know, this environment is a little bit different from week 1 when we talked about this. They played a couple games now, and they've really got a few things under their belt, and they know how to improve. And just family weekend overall ups the ante of the game, and it makes it that much more exciting to see your parents here and all the tailgating and all the festivities. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Jacob Blair. Alongside me is Kramer Sansone and Nolan Brooks. As Northwest took a win last weekend as they went to Topeka to play Washburn. They won that game 38-17, but it was a little bit of a struggle for Northwest last Thursday.
Yeah, that's first half for Northwest. Everything was going subpar for them, and there was a few miscues. There's a couple interceptions, fumble, and the defense first half still stayed steady, but that second half the defense came out to play.
Yeah, for sure. They really showed that they're still a second half team, and Northwest really knows how to come out of the halftime and really attack the weaknesses that they had and really go at the opposing team and make them realize that they're not here to just go away and they're here to win that game in the second half. So I was really surprised at how Northwest performed in the second half last week.
Yeah, so Northwest ended up getting that win, moved to 2-0 in the season. They'll also move up to number 4 in the national rankings. As now we look to today with Missouri Southern. Northwest leads this series 25-4, and they've won the last 23 straight. So, again, you look on paper, this game might look a little bit lopsided, but earlier in the week at the media luncheon, Coach Rich Wright talked about having to look at Southern. You have to play the game. You have to come in with a mindset. So here's Coach Rich Wright.
When you're in the MIAA, you get everybody's best shot. And I don't care if it's a team that's struggling or if it's a team that's undefeated. And everybody comes to Maryville, Missouri because you can literally make a team's season winning here. I've been here, this will be my 15th season in Maryville, and have not lost to Missouri Southern. So they want to come up here and play well. They want to come up here and win. And just because we may have more talent or we may be better on paper, you still have to line up and you still have to play the game and you still have to be focused. And all you have to do is look at Florida State and Sanford last weekend or any of the other games that you see across the country to understand that when you go to sleep a little bit or you don't pay attention to detail or you don't play your best, you can get beat. And so, that's really our focus this week. Our focus is on Northwest Missouri State playing as well as we can possibly play. If we do that, the details will take care of itself. There's so much little symbolism
this game was
that
also
is
played
still
on
around our
weekend
program
today. Took the win
that
63-0, but as Rich Wright said, it's the MIAA. You really can't overlook any opponent.
Yeah, no, you really can't overlook any opponent as going into this game. I mean, of course, Northwest has won the past, 23. So it's like they really can't be like, hey, let's just come in, show up. But you have to play your A game every single game you're out there. So you know that you're mean business every single week.
And Nolan, when you look at this team, Missouri Southern, they're going to try to do some stuff this weekend to throw everything they can at this Northwest defense.
Yeah, they have really kind of switched around their depth chart throughout the week, and a big thing for them is their quarterback situation. You have 2 guys that are fighting for a spot, and I feel like they could definitely do a dual quarterback threat, and if that works out for them, then Northwest defense is going to have a lot in store for them if they can't stop 2 separate quarterbacks. So.
Yeah, through the first 2 games, the Missouri Southern quarterback, Sean Kelly, he's 34 for 67, 209 yards and 1 interception, so not great quarterback play from him. So they have talked about possibly moving Laearl Patterson, their second-string quarterback, to play some today. They've had him at wide receiver. He's got 5 receptions and 18 yards for the season, but what is that going to throw at Northwest when you're going to see possibly 2 different quarterbacks today?
Well, you could see some different formations for them. They could run some wildcat with him. I mean, they could do a little sneak play as they could have him going in motion, possibly getting the handoff at any time they wanted to. I mean, he's athletic, he's fast. I mean, he has played quarterback with his JUCO that he transferred into Mo Southern. So, I mean, there's really a lot they could actually do with these dual quarterbacks.
And then as you look on the Northwest Missouri State side, we've now seen 2 weeks of the redshirt freshman quarterback, Braden Wright. He's 39 for 59, 449 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he's also the leading rusher for the Bearcats with 21 attempts, 181 yards, and 3 touchdowns. What have you seen so far, Nolan, from Braden Wright that really has pushed this Northwest team to the 2-0 start they've had?
Well, you know, we really talked about this and hounded on this in the very first game, how he really needed to develop as a young quarterback. You know, you're coming into the scene as a freshman, so it's a lot of pressure, but he's definitely stepped up the way we said he needed to. You know, being the leading rusher and for throwing over 400 yards already in 2 games is incredible. So I think he's really become maybe like a Michael Vick 2.0. He can cut across your defense as he runs, or he can throw down the field and tear you up. So he's done a great job for Northwest.
And Kramer, when talking about Braden Wright, that first game, there was a couple of plays where you saw the speed he had in the rushing game, was able to find some holes. What does that do to the Missouri Southern defense, who up to this point has been struggling this season, having to deal with a dual-threat quarterback like Braden Wright?
See, honestly, they have the option of, hey, should I cover a receiver, but then make sure I don't have my linebackers back enough so where if there is room for him to run and get out of the pocket, you just have that little in-between play for Missouri Southern. Honestly, for them, they should either play even so they can at least have the chance to get to Braden Wright just in case he scrambles outside the pocket.
And where Missouri Southern has been struggling so far this season has really been in the rushing games. We look for Josh Caldwell and Isaiah Strayhorn to have big games today. Isaiah Strayhorn, 19 attempts, 110 yards, and a touchdown this season. So look for him and both Josh Caldwell to have big games today.
Yeah, you know, the running game has been a consistent theme for Northwest over the years, and it's not slowing down any. So I really think Caldwell is going to come in, have an incredible day here for Northwest, and look for them to run all over that Missouri Southern D-line and their secondary, and that's going to be a problem for Missouri Southern.
And another player to look for with the Bearcats is Sean Bain. He's got 9 receptions, 178 yards, and 1 touchdown. He's 1 touchdown away from tying for 5th overall on the list behind Steve Hansley, who played in 83 to 85, and he also sits 8th in reception and yards. And last year against Southern, he had a really good game. He's looking for another good one today to maybe move up those lists.
Yeah, see, last year, as you mentioned, he had 7 receptions, over 100 yards, and a touchdown. So this could be a possible chance of him doing that again and actually tying, and possibly he could break the record today if they get the ball targets to him enough. I mean, of course, he has breakaway speed once he gets the ball. It's just the matter of fact of when they're going to use him at the right time or if they even use him at all today.
And then we've talked about the Bearcat offense. We'll now look at the Bearcat defense, and this is a Bearcat defense that they've got a lot of big bodies, and one of them is Austin Eskew. He's got 8 tackles and 3 tackles for loss this season, but he looks to have a big game as well today.
Yeah, Austin Eskew is a great defensive captain for Northwest. He's a big body. It's hard to stop him once he gets going, and you know, he gets real fired up out there on the field, and after he gets his first couple of tackles for loss, you know that he's going to be a problem, and that's going to cause Missouri Southern to switch over to the other side where he is not on, and hopefully that works for them, but I see Northwest really exploiting that part of their offense and putting Eskew wherever they need to put him.
And it is also family weekend here on the campus of Northwest Missouri State University, and there's a lot of tradition that goes into family weekend. And when we get back after a short break, we'll be here to talk about all the things that the football team does for family weekend.
Everyone has a story. A show where stories are told. Passion is shown through craft, skills, hobbies. From tattoo artists, family-owned vineyards, magicians, gospel bands. A place to showcase amazing people and even better stories. Everyone has a story. Are you ready to share yours?
Welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Shannon Clement.
And I'm Jackie Harding.
This semester, keep an eye out for the stories created by our spectacular crew members. Also, we're changing things up a bit.
That's right. We will be doing a top 5 things to look out for in the Maryville and Northwest community each week.
Keep up to date on what Channel 8 is producing by liking us on Facebook at /KNWT8 or follow us on Twitter at KNWT8News.
You can also catch Channel 8 News every Monday through Thursday at 6:15 p.m. right here on KNWT Channel 8.
potatoes, yes, yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now buttermilk biscuits, here we go. Sip the flour, oh, let's go. Clap your hands.
Tune into KNWT on weekdays at 8:15 p.m. on KNWT Channel 8.
Nerd again. Join us this year as we talk about all of your favorite nerdy topics. We'll be bringing in some new challenge videos to drift away from our usual comfort zone and bringing board games to life. Catch us on KNWT Channel 8 at 8 p.m. and check out the KNWT YouTube channel. You can also catch us live at 9 p.m. on KZLX or the KNWT Facebook page. And as always,
You heard it here first. Pew pew.
We are back at the pavilion here behind Bearcat Stadium as the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. They sit 2-0. They're going to play the Missouri Southern Lions. They sit 0-2, but it's a big weekend here at Bearcat Stadium for a different reason. It's family weekend.
Yeah, family weekend. There's a lot going on with family weekend that started last night and also going in today. I mean, a few things. We had a magician on campus. I mean, there's a lot of music, a lot of food, the scavenger hunt as well. And this morning when I was walking here, I mean, there was a 5K run walk, something that I will never do anymore is a 5K run and walk, not that athletic. But yeah, we also have the football game coming up later on, so it's like, it's a great weekend for the family and fans.
Yeah, and Nolan, you look at, that's a lot of the stuff that happens on campus, but there's a lot of stuff that happens with this football team as well, especially in one and honoring former coach Scott Boswick.
Yeah, you know, Boswick, if anybody didn't know, was the defensive coordinator for the Bearcats from 94 to 2010, and he really represented what defense meant at Northwest. And you know, we have the red hats, and he's famous for wearing that red Nike hat or the red Adidas hat, so people could find him on, his players could find him on the sideline and know where he's at and get the play call from him. And he just really spoke at what Northwest was as a football team, and we miss him a bunch, but it's great that we still honor him to this day and how much we honor him. So.
And one of the things the team is doing for today's game is on the back of their helmet, at the bottom of it, they have a Scott Boswick signature. It'll be in red at the bottom of those helmets, so it's another cool thing that the Bearcats are doing. And Rich Wright, he talked about the things he did with Coach Boswick at the media luncheon on Thursday. So here's Coach Rich Wright talking about Scott Boswick.
You know, there's so much little symbolism that is still around our program today that shows his presence. The black jerseys that we wear. I remember vividly the day that we were sitting up in the conference room at school, and we were talking about, you know, that was going to be his present to the team as his first year as a head coach. And so I remember the day that we unveiled those jerseys and the kids didn't know. The red paw coming out of the tunnel and seeing all the red that surrounds the stadium. He was different from Coach Churchma. You know, Coach Bostwick was gruff, and Coach Bostwick was to the point, but he still made people feel the same way. He had a genuineness about him that really resonated with people. The people in town, people back up in Omaha, where he was from. He's just a really special man, and I was blessed to have an opportunity to become good friends with him over the years. What you saw was always what you got with Coach T.
So that was Coach Rich Wright talking about Scott Boswick. Another thing they're going to do for him today is the coaches are all going to wear hats with his signature on their hats. And as Coach Rich Wright talked about, he brought in community members to talk about what Coach Boswick meant to this team.
Well, that's awesome that Coach Rich Wright did this, because, I mean, if some people that didn't know what Scott Boswick did for this, for Northwest, it's a great, like, learning moment and teaching moment for them to say, hey, this is a family atmosphere. We got to keep it like that. And then now with them doing the all red hats, everything, even with the uniforms, have the red paw on the side of the helmet, it's just perfect and a great tradition that Northwest does do this during family weekend too.
Yeah, Northwest colors, they might be white and green, but today we'll see a lot of red out in the stands. And just talk about that a little bit, Nolan.
So really, like I said before, the red really is how he, as a coach, stood out on the field, and when he wore that red hat, you knew where he was. You knew where to find him, and that really made him stand out as a coach overall. I mean, to be the defensive coordinator but be the most the most stood out coach above everybody else, even maybe the head coach, is outstanding, and that's why this red just symbolizes it. It makes you stand out as who you are, and it symbolized Bostwick as a person and a coach. So.
And the Bearcats will also be wearing the signature black jerseys that they wear on Family Weekend.
Yeah, it's honestly Family Weekend. Great. There's so much that this athletic department does with the uniforms. It seems like every week there's always something cool and great to show out pretty much the designs and everything. It also makes the football players look pretty good too, if I may add. So I mean, hey, look good, play good, win good.
And another thing going on with the football game is at halftime, legendary coach Mel Churchma will be honored, and he'll get his plaque for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So that's pretty cool to have that during Family Weekend here at Northwest.
Yeah, like Kramer said, there's so many elements that are adding on to this, and then to bring in the legendary Mel Churchma and put him into the Hall of Fame is just really the cherry on top, other than a Northwest win or something like that, but that's a cherry on top, and it really is awesome to see him get the recognition that he deserves. He brought this Bearcat football program from winless to one of the best in Division II history, so it's great to see him out there and get that recognition.
And Churchma was a 17-year head coach for the Bearcats. He won 103 games, 12 MIAA titles, 3 NCAA titles, and Coach Rich Wright also talked about his relationship with Coach Churchma at the media luncheon on Tuesday, so we'll hear again from Coach Rich Wright.
There's so much little symbolism. What you saw was always what you got with Coach T. He was just such a great person. He did a tremendous job of recruiting because he connected so well with families and parents. He was somebody who was really interested in the character of a kid as much as in his ability to be a football player. I was very fortunate to be here in 1995 and 1996 when this thing was getting built. And, before all the fans and before all the facilities and everything else. And he just had a vision for what this place could be. And he had a lot of help along the way too, but, he stayed that course and stayed with that vision. And he's always going to be very special to me. I'm not sure that they've really kind of found.
So that was Coach Rich Wright on his relationship with Mel Churchma. And another thing is Churchma may no longer be here with the school, but he lives on. It's Mel Churchma Field now. Let's talk about Mel a little bit.
Yeah, Mel, of course, Mel Churchma Field now as Bearcat Stadium. So it's of course, 242 career wins. I know he's also being recognized in Austin College in Sherman, Texas, because that's where he coached before, Northwest. But, geez, Mel Churchma, he's going to be a legend for here on out through Northwest.
Yeah, Churchma has become a household name here at Northwest, and he's really, like I said before, made this program who it is today, to bring them from absolutely no wins at all in his first season to the best program in Division II history. Really shows who he was as a coach, shows how he really brought in the family culture to this program and created what is now the Northwest football team. And it's really cool to see that people recognize who he was as a coach, what he brought in, and he's going to get that today at halftime, so that's great.
So a lot of things going on the campus of Northwest Missouri State as well with the football game today. And when we get back from a short break, we'll go ahead and look around the rest of the MIAA as there's 5 other MIAA games happening today.
Welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Shannon Clement.
And I'm Jackie Harding.
This semester, keep an eye out for the stories created by our spectacular crew members. Also, we're changing things up a bit.
That's right. We will be doing a top 5 things to look out for in the Maryville and Northwest community each week.
Keep up to date on what Channel 8 is producing by liking us on Facebook at /KNWT8 or follow us on Twitter at KNWT8News.
I'm Trevor Mader, host of the Weekend Sports Kickoff. Tune in with me and my 3 best friends, Ryan Elliott, Jacob Blair, and Kramer Sansone every Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. on Facebook Live. Each week, we break down the top stories and biggest moments from all spectrums of the sports world. So allow us to kick your weekend off with the Weekend Sports Kickoff on Facebook Live. You can also catch highlights of the show on KNWT Channel 8 weeknights at 9 p.m.
Bearcat Outdoors is a show that captures the memories that are made with family and friends while enjoying everything the outdoors has to offer. We will be in pursuit of a variety of game and sharing the experiences along the way. Check it out Monday through Thursday at 6:50 on KNWT Channel 8. Also, don't forget to follow along on all our social media for full access of everything Channel 8 has to offer.
There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people
to see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could review the TV and film
that they never could.
Again, join us
Welcome
this year as we talk
Bearcat
about all
Stadium
of
here
your
at the
favorite
pavilion behind Bearcat Stadium, previewing the Northwest Missouri State Missouri Southern football game getting set to take place today. But we look around the rest of Division II college football as well as the MIAA. On this week's poll, it was still Texas A&M Commerce at the top, Minnesota State second, Indiana, Pennsylvania second. The Northwest Missouri State Bearcats now are in the 4th position, and Grand Valley State rounds out your national top 5.
Yeah, you know, we really had a shakeup after that Fort Hays State lost on the road to Missouri Western, so that allowed for some teams to move around and kind of switch it up a little bit. But it's really nice to see Northwest move up in the polls and then another MIAA team get added in there, because that just shows that the MIAA is a strong conference, so this top 25 poll is looking good.
No, this top 25 poll is looking really good, I mean, especially with Northwest coming up to number 4 on this. I mean, of course, you mentioned Fort Hays lost against Missouri Western just last week. This right now is like pretty much the sky's the limit right now for Northwest. Like, let's see how far they can get up into the rankings. Hey, let's get number 1 again. Let's try that.
Yeah, so that's your national poll is again, Northwest Missouri State sits at number 4, and we'll look around the rest of the MIAA as today one of the games is Missouri Western will be at Central Missouri. Missouri Western, the team that got that Fort Hays State upset. But we'll start with you, Kramer. Who do you have in the game with Missouri Western and Central Missouri?
I got Central Missouri for today. I mean, Central Missouri is tied with the most touchdowns in the MIAA. They've only given up 1 interception all year. I mean, let's see what the Missouri Western defense can do with that. And also, they have a very, very fast offense. Of course, they have the most tied for the most touchdowns in the MIAA.
Yeah, you know, this, like I said, this MIAA conference is strong, but I'm going to have to go with UCM today as well. I'm also going to take Nebraska Kearney over Emporia State. They're 2-0. You know, that's really good for them, and they had a nice big 45-0 win over Missouri Southern. I'm also going to take Fort Hays and then Central Oklahoma.
And so with the Central Missouri game, I've got Central Missouri as well. They won last week 62-10 over Northeastern State. So all of us on the Central Missouri Mules. And now we'll look to Emporia State at Nebraska Kearney. Kramer, who do you got in this one?
Once again, I got Nebraska Kearney. They are the other team that is tied for first place in touchdowns in the MIAA. I mean, Nebraska Kearney has not been 3-0 in the MIAA play since they've been joining the MIAA. So let's see if they get that 3-0 this week later on. So Nebraska Kearney for me.
I got a little bit ahead of myself there. I'm sorry. I'm going to take Nebraska Kearney as well because, like I said, they got that 45-0 win, and then they've really proved themselves to get to 2-0 so far. And I think they're more developed as a team, and that's why I got them winning this week.
And I'm going to go a little bit different. I've got Emporia State winning this one. Nebraska Kearney, they've started the season really strong, but it's been 2 teams that were picked more towards the bottom of the MIAA to start the season. So Emporia State, they're a solid team, and I think they get the win today. And then we turn to Washburn at Fort Hays State, and this should be a good one in the MIAA. Is Washburn's a solid team, and Fort Hays State, they're coming off that upset loss last week.
So both teams lost last week, so they both are hungry, but I feel like Fort Hays State is a lot more hungrier. They lost to Missouri Western last week, and they are at home, so I don't see Fort Hays losing this game.
Yeah, Fort Hays is too good of a team to lose 2 games in a row. They lost on the road, but I feel like it isn't going to affect them much. I know they dropped in the polls, but I'm going to take Hays today big home game for them, and I feel like they're going to go out and dominate. So
Yeah, I've got Fort Hays State as well, and then the fourth game is Central Oklahoma at Lindenwood. Kramer, who you got in this one?
All right, so I don't know if you want to call this as an upset pick for me. I don't know how this thing works, but I am going with Central Oklahoma on the road against Lindenwood. This is two teams that are trying to build themselves back up. Already Lindenwood's improving since 2012, so let's see what happens in this game.
I'm going to go with Central Oklahoma as well for an upset, I guess. I had seen a couple videos of them playing, and I feel like they've also developed, and that's why the MIAA is strong this year, as I've preached many times. So I'm going to take Central Oklahoma.
And I've got Lindenwood as well. And then the last one is the Bearcat Marching Band is on their way. It's Pittsburgh State at Northeastern State. Kramer, who do you have in this one?
Pitt State. Going for Pitt State this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pitt State as well. They're too good of a football team to let Northeastern beat them at home. But, yeah, Pitt State.
Yeah, I've got Pittsburgh State as well. I think they're that fourth team that's put them in the top of the MIAA with Northwest, Fort Hays, and Central Missouri. I think Pittsburgh State's there. I think they get this one as well. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick break as the Bearcat Marching Band is on the way. And so we'll let them do their thing here at the pavilion. We'll be back to get everyone set for Northwest Missouri State and Missouri Southern State.
We are Nerd again. Join us this year as we talk about all of your favorite nerdy topics. We'll be bringing in some new challenge videos to drift away from our usual comfort zone and bringing board games to life. Catch us on KNWT Channel 8 at 8 p.m. and check out the KNWT YouTube channel. You can also catch us live at 9 p.m. on KZLX or the KNWT Facebook page. And as always, you heard it here first. Pew pew!
And I was like, whoa, this is really cool that people actually like know my song.
I'm Trevor Miller, host of the Weekend Sports Kick-Off. Tune in with me and my three best friends.
Nerdmageddon. Join us this year as we talk about all of your favorite nerdy topics. We'll be bringing in some new challenge videos to drift away from our usual comfort zone and bringing board games to life. Catch us on KNWT Channel 8 at 8 p.m. and check out the KNWT YouTube channel. You can also catch us live at 9 p.m. on KZLX or the KNWT Facebook page. And as always, you heard it here first. Pew pew.
And I was like, whoa, this is really cool that people actually like know my song.
I'm Trevor Mader, host of the Weekend Sports Kickoff. Tune in with me and my three best friends, Ryan Elliott, Jacob Blair, and Kramer Sansone, every Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. on Facebook Live. Each week we break down the top stories and biggest moments from all spectrums of the sports world. So allow us to kick your weekend off with the Weekend Sports Kickoff on Facebook Live. You can also catch highlights of the show on KNWT Channel 8 weeknights at 9 p.m.
Welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Shannon Clement.
And I'm Jackie Harding.
This semester, keep an eye out for the stories created by our spectacular crew members. Also, we're changing things up a bit.
That's right. We will be doing a top 5 things to look out for in the Maryville and Northwest community each week.
Keep up to date on what Channel 8 is producing by liking us on Facebook at /KNWT8 or follow us on Twitter at KNWT8News.
You can also catch Channel 8 News every Monday through Thursday at 6:15 p.m. right here on KNWT Channel 8.
Welcome back to the pavilion behind Bearcat Stadium as Jacob Blair, Kramer Sansone, and Nolan Brooks back with you. You're also listening on KZLX X106.7. They'll have the game broadcast later today. But as we look as we get closer to game time, Kramer, what is one thing you're really looking forward to for both the Bearcats and then for Southern into this game?
So I'll start off with Southern right now. The ability to use those two quarterbacks with Peterson and Kelly is correct. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and also the quarterback side on Northwest. And with Braden Wright, I want to see this boy run. I want to see him run and throw the ball, of course. But if he gets up to 200 yards rushing, I can see it happening today.
Yeah, definitely. You know, something that's been prominent for Missouri Southern in the first couple weeks, despite the losses, is their run game. So I think if they really want to stick around in this game, they're going to have to get the run game going, and that's how I think they'll beat the Northwest defense because the quarterback situation's kind of iffy, so they're going to have to bounce back and forth of who they want there. But as far as Northwest, Braden Wright, Sean Bain, consistent things every week, and I can see Braden Wright really going and running all over, throwing all over, and Sean Bain catching touchdowns, so that'll be big for them as well.
And one concern for Missouri Southern is they're only averaging 250 yards per game on offense while giving up 536.5 yards per game, so a big difference there, and that really is going to open it up on the ground for the Bearcats and let Braden Wright air it out if they want to.
I mean, yeah, it's honestly, it's kind of, MIAA is kind of hard. It's tough. There's a lot of tough teams, and there's a tough schedule for Missouri Southern. That's probably one of the main reasons why they have given up so many yards on the defense. But with this running game for Northwest, I could see them running wild today. Honestly, like I said earlier, Braden Wright, I want to see him get 200 rushing yards. Possibly not going to happen, but because you're going to have to share the wealth with the rest of the players on the team. And, yeah, air it out a little bit, too. See some Bain get hit, get 2 touchdowns so he can break the record.
Yeah, and then one good thing for Missouri Southern is their running game has been something that's been able to move the football a little bit, as Caleb Beatty has 37 attempts for 216 yards, and then Dalton James, his backup, he's got 26 attempts for 105 yards. So through 2 games, 344 total yards on the ground, and that's something the Missouri Southern Lions can work on.
Yeah, they like I said, are going to have to exploit the Northwest defense by getting that run game going. Now, with the dual quarterback threat possible, Patterson could be a running guy. So that's something that could be a part of their run game. But Northwest defense has to recognize that, and I think that's how they're going to limit Missouri Southern today, is by shutting down the run game, because they know the passing game just is not there for the Lions so far.
And with the Bearcats, we saw this game last year won by the Bearcats 63-0, and if it ends up going that way, you're going to see some new faces for the Bearcats. So who's one player for the Bearcats you want to see improve today?
Yeah, one player to see improve today. I mean, say they are going out there and they put up a lot of points on the board. I want to see another quarterback change. Put Kowalski out there. Let's see what he can do behind with his 6'3" frame that he does have. I want to see him throw the ball a little bit. Of course, they're going to probably run the ball if it's up that high in the scoring. But I just want to see some arm strength by Kowalski.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Kramer. Kowalski and Wright were competing for the starting quarterback job already in the preseason, and I feel like if he gets his reps today, that's going to be good for him as well. Should something happen to Braden Wright, or if it goes downhill for the freshman, he's going to come in, and I feel like he can dominate as well. So Kowalski today will be good.
Yeah, one player I'm looking at is Troy Harper. He's the freshman wide receiver that a lot of times you'll see, a lot of times in Division II, and especially here at Northwest, you'll see those freshmen redshirt. But Troy Harper did not take that red shirt, so he's a true freshman. See him get a couple more reps today.
That'd be cool to also see him get a few more reps in there. Also, another person to look out, senior Anthony Lane. Let's see what he can do out of the corner. Possibly get his first interception on the season. Let's see what he can do for the defense, for the Bearcats.
Yeah, this Bearcat offense and defense are really heavy with their depth, and that's what's good for Northwest. But Missouri Southern's going to have a problem with that if they get up by a bunch. It's not going to slow down at all. All this depth is really going to create problems in every aspect of the field. So hopefully Missouri Southern's ready for some depth if the score gets to what it was last year.
And we've talked a lot about the Northwest Missouri State offense, but only a little bit about Northwest defense. And this looks like, with an offense that's struggling a little bit, could be a big day for Northwest defense.
Yeah, a big day for Northwest defense indeed, because this defense, they showed up last week in Washburn in the second half. I know they were there the entire game, but mostly through that second half, they prevailed, only giving up 3 points. So let's see how long plus that 3 points was in the third quarter. So that fourth quarter, there was nothing going on. Let's see if the defense for Northwest can start a streak on not giving up any points. Let's see how many shutouts Northwest can get with that defense they have.
Yeah, and with the Northwest defense being a common theme every week, they haven't given up a rushing touchdown since 2016. But we bring up that Missouri Southern has to get the run game going. So that's really going to be the clash that I want to look for today, is if Missouri Southern's run game can get past the run defense of Northwest and really get some points on the board for them.
Yes, so Rich Wright also talked about what he's doing to get prepped for game time. So we'll hear from Rich Wright one more time.
I'm not sure that they've really kind of found their rhythm yet, but our focus isn't on Missouri Southern. Our focus is on Northwest Missouri State. And if we're going to get to where we want to go, we have to start to play to our expectations. And although we've shown flashes of being a team that can be a really good football team, we've got to develop a consistency that we're really focusing on this week in practice.
Everyone has a story.
And so we
A
are
show
getting
where
really
stories
close to
are
game
told.
time now. Northwest Missouri State comes into this one 2-0. Missouri Southern State 0-2. So one team, you're looking for Northwest to start that season 3-0. And the good thing for them when you look at their schedule is with Braden Wright as their quarterback, they haven't had to go up against one of those big teams like Fort Hays State or Central Missouri. They're starting with teams that were projected a little bit lower in the MIAA.
So they haven't seen them yet. I mean, they're coming up later on in their schedule. But right now, this is actually a good way for him to pretty much dip his toes in the water to get the breathing room for these teams that are. I mean, they are good. They are good teams in the MIAA, but they're not the top tier good teams in the MIAA. So it's good that he's having these quick 3 games with these teams. So right now, I can see us winning out.
Yeah, I could agree with Northwest winning out. We've had experience in the MIAA every year, and it's a consistent theme with Northwest to go out and dominate the MIAA. So that's something that Missouri Southern, I'm sure, has in the back of their head, is that this is the top team in the MIAA. If you want to win, you got to go through Maryville. And I hope that they're ready for it and that they know what they need to do to attack Northwest, and that Northwest is ready for Missouri Southern to come out firing.
And we talked about it a little bit earlier, and it is family weekend, but what comes with that is a lot of emotions out there on the field. You've got your family here. There's also the Scott Boswick and Mel Churchman stuff. But what are the players going through right now, just about 30 minutes from kickoff?
Right now, the players are they're excited. Of course, they're always going to be excited. You're going to be out there on Bearcat Stadium on the field playing in front of your family for Scott Boswick. Even on the day that they're honoring Mel Churchman into the Hall of Fame, there's a lot going on and going through the heads of these players. But right now, their main focus is going out there and playing football and playing really good football in order to get that win for them to make them 3-0 on the season.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a question as what's going to happen, with a 63-0 win last year for Northwest. So I'm hoping that it'll be a little bit more of a game, makes it a little bit more fun environment, on Family Day to see a bit of a competitive game. So Missouri Southern's going to have to keep the score reasonable today if it's going to be a close game. So hopefully that happens.
Yeah, and along with Family Day activities, the volleyball team will also be playing tonight at Bearcat Arena right after the football game. They won their game against Lindenwood last night in 3 sets, so that just adds to the family stuff. But we're just now about 30 minutes from kickoff here at Bearcat Stadium.
Yeah, also you mentioned their game after this. Well, tomorrow the soccer team is over at the pitch right behind us, and they're going up against Missouri Western. So there's a lot going on with Family Weekend. It never stops. Honestly, Family Weekend should be Family Year because that's pretty much how it is here at Northwest.
Yeah, it's just fun times and throughout the entire week. There's something going on every day, like we've mentioned, and as you get closer to game time for each different sport, it just gets that much better. There's just those little tidbits of it where you're like, oh my gosh, we're that much closer to game time. I'm about to watch my favorite team play or something like that, and it makes it so much better. So.
Yeah, so the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats look for their 13th 3-0 start since 1996 as they come into this one 2-0. Missouri Southern State, the Lions, they start 0-2. And this has been the Northwest Student Media Tailgate Show for KNWT Channel 8 and KZLX 106.7. For Jacob Blair, Kramer Sansone, and Nolan Brooks, thanks you guys for tuning in.